Welcome to the weekend edition of National Focus. I'm Jarna Hector. Coming up, work suspended at 1 p.m. ahead of the approach of Tropical Storm Bertha. A Center for Children with Disabilities is under discussion, and we'll bring you more presentations from the House of Parliament coming up next.
If you can believe this.
Come by my house and let me show you some movies.
Why can't you believe this? Some mothers don't believe their own children when they say they've been sexually abused, and they don't report it. Remember, if anyone asks to see or touch their private parts, touches them inappropriately, shows them or forces them to touch one's private parts, has sex with them, shows them pornographic material, or deliberately lets them hear or see the act of sex, then it is sexual abuse. Believe your child and report the sexual abuse. For more information about child abuse, contact these agencies.
Thanks for staying with us. Dominica nationals have been advised to take all necessary precautions ahead of the approaching Tropical Storm Bertha. A tropical storm warning has been issued for Dominica, and the weather system is expected to impact Dominica by 4 p.m. On Friday at 11 a.m., the center of Tropical Storm Bertha was located near latitude 14.0 north and longitude 58.9 west, moving towards the west-northwest near 21 miles per hour. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit issued this statement to the nation following an emergency meeting of the National Emergency Planning Organization on Friday.
This morning at 9:30 we held an emergency meeting of the National Emergency Planning Organization, NEPO, to receive updates and reports from the Disaster Office in respect to Tropical Storm Bertha, which is approaching our country, Dominica. We received reports from the various chairpersons of the respective committees within the framework of NEPO in respect to our preparedness for any possibilities or eventualities. And each of those persons will have an opportunity also to brief the nation on our own preparations in respect to Tropical Storm Bertha and any other storm which may be approaching our country. I will first read a short statement in respect to Tropical Storm Bertha. The National Emergency Planning Organization, NEPO, advises the residents of Dominica of the approach of Tropical Storm Bertha. Tropical Storm Bertha is expected to impact Dominica today, Friday, August 1, 2014. According to the latest weather advice from the Dominica Meteorological Office, the storm should begin to affect Dominica this evening from approximately 4 p.m. The advisory further states that Dominica is likely to be impacted by 45 miles per hour winds and rainfall estimated to be 2 to 3 inches in low-lying areas and in excess of 3 inches in higher elevations. Based on the advice received from NEPO and the discussions which were held at the emergency meeting this morning, and in consideration of the safety and best interests of the population, Cabinet has taken the decision to suspend work from 1 p.m. this afternoon and to further advise the general public to make all final preparations from the onset of Tropical Storm Bertha. We also wish to advise that all essential services shall remain functional, and the respective heads of those services will be in direct contact with the officers assigned to those services. Our hope is that having suspended work at 1 p.m., each one of us will return home and return to our communities to help in the preparation of this event. We have also taken a decision insofar as where the state is hosting events today, public events. Those events will be postponed or cancelled. While we do not have the authority to, in law, except if we declare a public holiday, to send persons in the private sector home, we are urging the private sector to place the safety of their employees at the fore and allow them to go back to their homes in the communities to help in preparation for Tropical Storm Bertha. We have no control over storms which will affect us, but we have control over actions to minimize the hazards that we will normally be exposed to. So I want to urge each one of us that we should not treat this as a half day away from work. It is a decision recognizing your own personal safety and the safety of the general public, and to give you an opportunity to get home safely and to ensure that the necessary proactive and preemptive actions are taken to safeguard your family and your family's property.
The following is the weather forecast from the Dominica Met Office for today and tomorrow. Cloudy to overcast with moderate to heavy showers, thunderstorms and gusty winds. Winds northeasterly to southeasterly up to tropical storm force. Sea conditions moderate to rough in open water, swells 2.5 to 3 meters or 8 to 10 feet. A small craft warning is in effect for above normal sea swells. Stay tuned following this newscast for a replay of Friday morning's press conference at the Ministry of Finance conference room. In other news, the Ministry of Social Services has identified 2 additional initiatives which will take off in the new fiscal year. In the area of adult education, the Honorable Minister Gloria Shillingford revealed that a Yes I Can program is on the cards with support from the Cuban government.
The Yes I Can program is really to boost up literacy in the country. You know that a well-read country is also a well-developed country. And this is one of the things that the Cuban government would like to help us with. They will be providing literature and also the money to be able to employ persons under that program. As a matter of fact, a team has already been on island, and the team worked with our persons in adult education to be able to a workshop was held to prepare them just for that. And then we are in this stage where they have already gone back to Cuba, and they have already their monies made available. We just have to do whatever it is to ensure that the program or the project is taken forward.
The Yes I Can program will join other similar programs of that ministry when it is launched.
We are looking at maybe, because things have started actually, and as I said, and we are looking at within the next year that things really get in motion.
A Center for the Care of Children with Disabilities is also among top agenda items for the Ministry of Social Services.
This is a center where children with disability can be placed, a daycare center where they can be placed so as to give some sort of respite to the parents who normally take care of them. You know, it can be very tiring for parents who have to take care of children with disability, and if they are not given some sort of help, and if they are not given some sort of break, this can really take the toll on their health, take the toll on their minds.
The center will be established in the community of Chance in Portsmouth. At this point, Honorable Shillingford says details are still under discussion.
We really look forward to see this center take off, and all is in place because it's been approved by the CDB, and everything is in place right now, and we are working very closely with them to see things move on.
Honorable Shillingford was reporting on her ministry's plans and achievements in the House of Parliament on Monday. British High Commissioner Ambassador Victoria Dean supports government's move to diversify the Dominica economy. Ambassador Dean was speaking at a press conference last Wednesday when she stated that as global trade evolves, so too must the Caribbean region. In light of this, the ambassador said that it is important for countries in the region to find means of diversifying their economies. Ambassador Dean was speaking at a press conference last Thursday during the British High Commission's hosting of Brit Week in Dominica.
That time has gone, and I think that's probably accurate because of the WTO changes. I think that probably means, as it does for many countries in this region and beyond, that reliance on any one single golden product, as you call it, is risky. And so we would always be advising anybody to look at diversifying their market and diversifying their offer.
High Commissioner Dean acknowledged that Dominica has already begun taking strides towards diversification and suggested that the country continue down this route.
But that, to me, certainly still feels relatively untapped. I mean, it's always a challenge because one of the great joys of Dominica is how unspoilt it is and how people can come here to really genuinely enjoy nature and escape perhaps the day-to-day rat race in the modern world. So hanging on to that and protecting that whilst also developing tourism is a very difficult challenge. But I think the move into that type of service sector, diversifying within the economy and thinking very hard about the really wonderful tourism offer you have here is probably the right way for the country to go.
The Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt's 2014-2015 Visionary National Budget presentation was themed towards expansion of the economy. According to the Honorable Prime Minister in his budget address, a more diversified approach to sustainable economic recovery and social development will move the island out of recession and into an era of prosperity. In other news, the government's housing revolution, which has invested over $3 million in safe and affordable housing for Dominicans, has touched hundreds of nationals across the island, particularly in the Kalinago territory. This according to the Honorable Minister for Caribbean Affairs and Parliamentary Representative for the Kalinago Territory, Ashton Grano.
We were able, with the help of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, to construct 47 two-bedroom houses with washroom facilities for the Kalinago people. Yes, Mr. Speaker, that is to the tune of over $3 million. So when the critics talk about nothing is happening or nothing happened over the last 5 years, we want to ask them, what is it that they're talking about? Under the People's Republic of China funded housing program, we constructed 28 two-bedroom houses with washroom facilities, Mr. Speaker. And all these houses have been allocated, all, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Minister noted that the Housing Revolution program will also address the housing issue in Atkinson and Antrizal. Honorable Grano expressed profound gratitude to the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela and the People's Republic of China for their contributions which have enhanced living standards of the Kalinago people.
I want at this time to thank most profoundly the government and people of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela for that great gesture that they have given to the Kalinago people. The 47 houses which were constructed with funds from Venezuela, as well as the Salibia Primary School, which is one of the most modern primary schools in the island today. I also want to thank most profoundly the people and government of the People's Republic of China, who have also provided funds for the construction of the 28 houses that were just completed and all allocated to residents of the Kalinago territory. Mr. Speaker, without these great friends, and he always said that a friend in need is really a friend indeed. And I want to say that we, the Kalinago people, appreciate very greatly the friends in the People's Republic of Venezuela, Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, and the People's Republic of China.
Honorable Grano says government has already invested over $300,000 in the house renovation and sanitation program.
We've been able, over the last few years, under the renovation and enhanced and renovation and sanitation program, to provide housing relief for people in the Kalinago territory and at Kingston to the tune of over $300,000. Mr. Speaker, we have been able to, the truth is, hundreds of people have requested assistance. Hundreds, I say, about 400 of our people from this constituency have requested assistance in renovating their homes. The truth is, we cannot deal with all 400 plus people at the same time. So what we have been able to do is to provide relief for a number of these people, and we have been able to provide for the people of Atkinson way back to Sineku.
The Honorable Minister highlighted that this is just one example of government responding to the housing needs of the territory and dismissed accusations that government has not catered to the needs of his constituents.
One of the critics did say that one of the things he has seen, and I say he, so you maybe know I'm not talking about a lady here or a woman, is that over the last 5 years, the government has only given handouts to the Kalinago people. Mr. Speaker, I mean, if you're a leader in a community, you have not been able to impact in one way or another in the lives of your people. And a government is being so sensitive and is providing relief for your people. In most instances at no cost, Mr. Speaker, you criticize the government and you talk about handouts. So, Mr. Speaker, I think these people have to rethink. And the people of the Kalinago territory and Atkinson have to take them to task for that.
According to the Prime Minister's address, between 2009 and 2013, more than 3,500 individuals across the island have benefited under the Housing Revolution and Sanitation Program. The nation's leader, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, announced in his budget address last week that an allocation of $31.9 million or 18.4% of the capital budget has been allocated for affordable housing to include the construction of up to 1,500 new houses. In more news, Parliamentary Representative for the Petit Savan constituency, Honorable Dr. Kenneth Daru, says much has been accomplished during his term in office. Honorable Daru was speaking at Parliament earlier this week.
We've done major repairs to the road from Dubic all the way back to Bagatelle. Of course, there are a few areas in between there which we're hoping to address in the new financial year under some of the maintenance money from the Ministry of Public Works. We've seen the construction of a bypass moving Petit Savan, what I like to call the Daru to Rogers bypass, that also serves as an access road to the now almost complete Petit Savan playing field, a brand new playing field, something that the Petit Savan people never had, Mr. Speaker.
In his 2014-2015 budget address last week, the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit stated that $300 million has been spent on major roadworks in the last 5 years. According to Honorable Dr. Kenneth Daru, Parliamentary Representative for the Petit Savan constituency, $1 million of that was spent on the Petit Savan White River Road.
We've seen interventions on the road from Petit Savan to White River, almost $1 million spent there to improve the road surface. Road had been in a very deplorable condition for the past time, and I would like to thank also the contractor, Mr. Vidal, very good friend of mine, for his steadfastness and also his cooperation during this project.
The MP also reported on the $2 million water rehabilitation project, which was completed and commissioned by the government of Dominica, the much anticipated playing field, as well as continued housing developments.
We've witnessed the commission in Petit Savan of almost over $2 million water rehabilitation project within Petit Savan. Many of us here would have had the opportunity to be at the commissioning of this project. I spoke about the much awaited Petit Savan playing field, very ambitious project in terms of location. We spent to date almost $400,000 in the construction of this playing field, and we're waiting a further injection of maybe $150,000 to take it towards playable condition. We're talking about access road, fencing, etc. The housing renovation, we've done quite a bit of work in Petit Savan, and it will continue, Mr. Speaker.
The Petit Savan parliamentary representative also made mention of the farmers group, as well as repairs to the health center, primary school and community center. He went on to give an update on the storm drain and street lighting projects.
Storm drains in this coming budget. Remember, under our DVRP, we have $6 million allocated towards the construction of storm drains, and I know there are a number of issues within the 57 community that we will address in this coming year. Street lights are also other issues that we will seek to address in this new financial year. And under the ministry, Mr. Speaker, we just received an official communication from the Global Environmental Facility of the allocation of $2 million towards another street lighting, solar lighting facility. Of course, within the coming months, we'll be working in close association with the Ministry of Public Works, because we know that we have an ongoing street lighting program, Mr. Speaker, with the People's Republic of China to avoid any duplication, etc., and to ensure that a number of our rural communities, okay, will be properly lighted under this project.
And that's news. Colette Ambo is up next with a recap of this week's headline stories.
Welcome to this week's edition of Flashback. In the headlines this week, the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit confirmed in his budget address that the rehabilitation and enhancement of the city of Roseau and the town of Portsmouth will commence during the 2014-2015 fiscal year. The Dominica leader informed that the projects will result in the upgrade and expansion of the infrastructure to attract new investment. The Honorable Minister for Fisheries, Honorable Dr. Kenneth Daru, reported this week a stable record of fish landings in fishing communities across the island. Honorable Daru made the remark during his address to Parliament on Monday. Also this week, Dominica advanced its cybercrime prevention strategy with a 3-day cybercrime training workshop which began on Monday. The workshop, which was organized by the Ministry of Information, Telecommunications and Constituency Empowerment, primarily focused on forensics, strategy development, and establishment of a National Computer Incident Response Team, CERT. Honorable Kelva Daru reported this week that the St. Joseph constituency will see major developments during the course of the 2014-2015 fiscal year. Those developments will include the Bells Water Supply Project, a community center disaster shelter in Layu, and the installation of new street lights. The Education Ministry will also see major infrastructural developments in the new fiscal year. The island's Education Minister listed the continuation of works on the Newtown Primary School and Phase 2 of the Dominica State College, among other school building rehabilitation projects. Plans are afoot for a domestic abuse center for the island for the protection of abused men and women. The Honorable Minister for Social Services, Gloria Shillingford, said this week that this will prevent further abuse and fatalities. The DDA announced this week that Dominica is doing well in its quest to meet its target of 90,000 stayover tourists by the end of 2015. And 4 locals who have made exceptional contributions to the preservation and promotion of Dominica's culture received the prestigious Golden Drum Awards on Wednesday. 5 other distinguished Dominicans also received special recognition awards at the ceremony. Those were the headline stories which made the news this week. Back to you, Jarna.
Thank you, Colette. And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à ces nouvelles en créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, nous avons dit comme que le gouvernement Dominique prend décision pour arrêter des services publics aujourd'hui, si l'on mauvais coup de temps qui est expecté pour affecter le pays. Si l'on Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, information qui sortit de l'Office des As, moutoué coup de temps qui est affecté le pays Dominique. Ça, c'est dans l'occasion publique fermée aujourd'hui à Yonne, pendant place quand l'hôpital, police et Yonne dit encore resté ouvert. Honorable Skerrit m'a dit Dominicien pour faire préparation pour cool temps cela. L'Office des SAS en même temps Dominique qui continue pour monitorer la situation cela. En la nouvelle, messieurs et mesdames, le département qui est responsable pour Toise national White Koubli, qui a fois encore organisé journée Toise là à le 9 août l'année 2014. Si l'homme manager département cela, Roselyne Paul, il a organisé activité là pour sensibiliser les gens et puis pour yo apprécier toi cela.
Jour toast national, c'est un jour où là nous ka crier à ces Dominicains, nous ka encourager Dominicains pour apprécier pli White National Trail, qui c'est un produit qui a avancé touristes pour venir à Dominique, mais plus important qui a promoté tout ça nous y collecter nous ressources naturelles nous et nous ka créer tout groupe pour venir ensemble pour trouver qu'il y a un segment White National Trail qui nettoyer qui apprécier environnement nous qui point porter qui pour voir assez internet. So c'est un jour où là nous qui c'est un jour où là nous qui mettez White National Trail devant qu'on produit qui bien qu'on produit qui n'est autant valeur pour nous comme Dominicains. Nous pas ça ni un produit comme ça et moun pas ka savent pas ça apprécier ça fait ba nous. Obe ça ka signifié pour Dominicains. So c'est pour ça nous ne White National obe ça nous ka créer National Trail Day. Nous pas ka créer White National Trail Day parce que ni autant trois Dominique qui ni autant valeur. So content qu'a passé moun qui ça apprécier. Ça c'est toutes ces trois ça là, ça fait ba nous.
En notre nouvelle projet capital gouvernement éducation pour l'année financière cela qu'a tapé attention à ces infrastructures. Parole celle-là sortira du ministère de l'Éducation, honorable Peter Saint-Jean. Selon ministre Saint-Jean, ministre a déjà facilité plusieurs écoles primaires et puis secondaires en C5 l'année là qui passée. Premier ministre honorable Roosevelt Skerritt a adressé en l'adresse budget qui travaille réhabilitation de ces institutions cela coûté 2,0 millions de dollars l'argent. Cette école secondaire aussi tapé attention pour le programme TVET. Quand même, ministre Saint-Jean a fait parole qui avancement l'école qui continue. Ministère du State College Dominique qui recevait d'autres attention développement infrastructure. Ministre Saint-Jean aussi report équipement l'école qui a reçu. Il dit éducation tapé allocation 62,9 millions de dollars hors budget. Et puis ça c'est le ministère de l'Éducation, honorable Peter Saint-Jean. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en créole pour à présent. Non moins, c'est McPherson. Qu'à souhaiter tout le monde un bon week-end. Au revoir.
Coming up next, a tip for storm preparation.
DOWASCO recognizes that clean water is vital to healthy living. Therefore, it spares no effort in providing a clean, safe, and reliable system. Help keep our rivers safe and clean. Do not cut trees along the river banks and do not pollute with garbage, human or animal feces, and chemicals. Think water, think life.
In disaster situations, safe drinking water is very important. Most germs die quickly at high temperatures, so experts say that water which has been boiled for 1 minute is safe to drink after it has cooled. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the GIS News Production team, I'm Jarna Hector. Thanks for watching and stay safe this weekend.